What's going on, y'all? Thanks for chiming in once again. You are now rocking with the Spoon Fed Podcast. You are here with Spoon the World, short for Spoon, whichever one you want to choose. And we got an interesting topic today. Controversial, but we're going to get to the facts always. You know how we do. Raw, uncut, direct to the point to your face so you can understand. Hopefully you learn something. But today's topic is pretty much, is body count important for men or women and why? But before we get to that, we're going to also tell you about our sponsor, Splash. Once again, we have the Splash Snapback and we have the Splash Life Tee with the acronym inside each letter. Some people love and some hate. Beautiful, beautiful. And one thing about the snapback that I love the most, check this out. On the side, you have the word love. And then, when you flip it, love and hate. Beautiful, right, man? Creative. That's just the epitome of what Splash is about. Some people love and some hate. But we're going to get that in the description. We have the website in the description. You have my personal Instagram in the description. And you have Splash Clothing NYC, the clothing brand, in the description as well. And you're going to have other links of business and social connections in the description. But let's carry on. Now to today's topic. Oh, man. Is body count important for men or women and why? Before we even carry off on a tangent, let's go to biology first. Remember, man and woman are not the same. We don't think the same. We don't want the same things. Period. People swear, oh, we want equality. Equality is different from biological needs. Period. Because once you get out of nature, you're like a planet out of orbit. There's no way for you to function properly if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what your natural needs are. Because then you'll just be lost. But when it comes to biology, men produce sperm, millions of sperm cells every day. A woman produces an egg once a month. So that means even if she gets pregnant, she can only get pregnant once a year. A man could produce so many different babies a year because he produces so much sperm cells. So biologically, if you look at it, men were made to procreate on a mass scale. Women, and that pretty much tells you we're dominant. We're the hunters. We the ones that create. We have to go get it. You see what I'm saying? A woman, on the other hand, she has to nurture, take care, coddle, and help raise that child, or the foundation of the household, because she's the nurturer of the family. See, remember, you can't have yin without the yang. It's like a team. You see what I'm saying? And one thing you have to understand, let's roll back the hands of history. Let's roll back the time a little bit. Just because what's happening in the past is happening today, but it's just in a different version. And I'm going to break it down. Think of it this way. In ancient times, the top percent of men were the ones that was the breadwinners, right? Majority of the women were sharing the top percent of men. Meaning, like a king or a monarch or a soldier or a gladiator, women were going after the top percent of men. So the top percent of men were sleeping with multiple women, guaranteed. And they had to share him. Just like nowadays, if you fast forward, you have athletes, you have judges, people in high positions. Those are the top percent of men. That's the high earners with the status, the money, and the power. So majority of the women wants to deal with them because it's better for them in the outlook. Because instinctively, it's for survival. Just like in the past, remember, in those days, everything was literally survival. Because you're thinking of the strongest man that could protect you, provide for you, and make sure that somebody don't come around and try to snatch you up and kill you. You see what I'm saying? But when you fast forward to today, you don't have to worry too much about that, but it still has the same instinctual power. You see what I'm saying? Nature doesn't change. It's just the time that changes. And Along with saying that, think of it this way. The reason why body counts really do matter to me and towards biologically and towards society, a man's body count is not that important. The only thing, if a man has a high body count, pretty much that's all. Only thing that's saying is that he got around and he knows what he's doing in bed. That's pretty much it. But a woman's high body count, that tells you a lot because she takes in energy. Like, you can't have a bunch of dudes running through you and thinking it's okay. Nah, because if that's a bunch of energy and you're putting a lot of mileage out. I'm going to get to that in a second. Break this down even further. The reason why a woman's body count, especially if she sleeps with a lot of dudes, is important because, remember, a woman produces a child. So, and she's innately is going to be the one that's going to be assisting the household and taking care of the family. So, if she's dealing with a bunch of dudes and she has a bunch of energy in her, she will not have the ability to pair bond. And I'm going to break it down more definitively. If she has all this bunch of energy, and remember, women are emotional beings. Meaning, if she's monkey branching and jumping to branch to branch to branch, she has so many variations and so much energy in her that she doesn't know what she wants. She's going to be confused because there's so many options. It's like a kid in the candy store. Like, you're going to be like, think about it. Because even when she gets old or whatever, she's going to be addicted to that. That's like dopamine. You see what I'm saying? So she's not going to be able to pair bond. So, but say if she's with me and she's been with 1,000 dudes, she's going to get bored with me. She's going to be like, well, you're my love, but, you know, I have this itch. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing with validation. Once a person gets so much validation continuously, and they don't have discipline, that's going to mess them up mentally because they're going to need it. It's just like an addict. Yo, it gets deep, y'all. Like, this is how deep it gets. It's not even a game. But you got to understand the ramifications of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's nothing to play with, because if she, think about this, if she has an inability to pair bond and I have a baby with her, she's going to be doing so much nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And one thing you have to understand, big time, a man cares about a woman's past because her past could mess up his future. And I'm going to break down that more. A woman cares about a man's future because his future could pull her out of her past. That shit gets deep. And the reason why a man is cared about a woman's past is because, to save, just like I said a second ago, to say if she has a high body count and she can't pair bond, and I have a baby with her and we get married, I'm not gonna, she could mess up my name. She could do something and embarrass me. Think about it. Will Jada, entanglement. That's embarrassing. Look what happened to Will. Ugh. Or, worse, like, she could divorce you, take the baby, and you have to pay half. She could mess up everything that I tried to build. You see what I'm saying? You see the examples that I'm getting at? Scary. Whew. I know what most of y'all gonna say, but what about the guy's mileage? The difference is, if you was paying attention for what I said before, men think logically, we don't think emotionally. So if we sleep around, we're not going to be as much affected because we are the givers. We're not the receivers. The woman is the receiver. So if a woman's receiving a lot of energy, let me just give you an analogy. If I wanted a car, right? And I go to the dealership and there's a car for 100,000 miles, right? That has 100,000 miles on it. And there's another car that has just, it's brand new, barely has any mileage on it. Which one would you prefer? And it's not even trying to even compare people to cars, but this is the best analogy for it. If you're trying to take a road trip anywhere, and like, if you want to take a road trip like to Florida or something like that, and you have a car with 100,000 miles, you're going to be worried about getting there. You see what I'm saying? That's the same thing with marriage and all that, if you think of people. But if you get a car that's like brand new, you don't have to worry about it. You know it's going to execute properly, because the car that's at 100,000 miles, anything that's been used up will not work at its full capacity as it used to. Same with people. The laws of the land, the laws of life. This is what it is. So when you really break it down, a man's job is to hunt and to get the woman. A woman's main job is to attain the man. This is important, because in actuality, you don't want a woman that's been around the block dealing with everybody. And I'm gonna break it down. Some women be like, or some dudes be like, well, why not? Like, it shouldn't matter. Okay, let me put it this way. This is why it matters. Especially nowadays, even in the past too, men had to approach women. Women always get approached. We have to do the approaching. Women don't have to do all that. If a man goes outside with a sign and says, you know what, I will make any girl climax, there's not going to be a line around the corner for him. But a woman could hold a sign up and say, hey, who want this? She'll have a line around the block if she was giving up something. That's a fact. It's easier for a woman to get sex. And this is why I'm going to break it down even further. A man that sleeps around is more wanted and has more value than a woman that sleeps around. That's the double standard, but it is what it is, because if you paid attention to the biology of it, it makes sense. Because a man has to work to get these women. Think about it. A female don't have to work. She just go up to somebody and flirt, and then she can get any man she want. Even today, a woman is not going to tell you. Some of them might, but if they see a man around a bunch of women, and the woman is attaining to him, like, hey, a woman naturally is going to be like, what did he got? She's going to be curious. But if it's the shoes on the other foot, if a man sees a female bunch of around a bunch of dudes, we're going to be like, ew. Like, it's easy. We're going to feel that you being plucked by all those dudes. And we don't want you, because men are territorial. Very territorial. We don't want our women being touched by everything. Same thing with that car analogy. We don't want that. So that's why I'm like, it's very serious. And you have to understand this. A woman chooses the mate. We choose the wife. Period. Hands down. That's what we do. We get the last laugh. We choose the wife. They don't. They don't choose a husband. We choose the wife. They get to choose who they want to be with. Oh man, this is real. This is real deep, man. Because it's like a lot of people don't understand this. One thing that's funny. Women say, I would never share a man, but they be the same ones with a guy that already has 2 baby mothers. Really? It's mind-boggling. And one thing that you have to understand, without a doubt, remember this. A key that can open up many doors is a master key. A door that can be opened up by many locks is a broken lock. Period. Nobody wants that. And you have to understand the main factor, especially when we're young. A woman's early and best years is from 18 to 25. Because that's the time when she's most fertile, she's not jaded, and she hasn't been through too much, so she can understand what she likes and who she likes and what she wants out of life. You see what I'm saying? Soon as a woman hit 30, 80% of her eggs that helps her produce and creates childbirth and babies are burnt up. But men, we still keep pushing. Men can have babies until their 90s. Women, when they hit 30, 35, they're already almost hitting the wall, depending if they took care of their body. So if a woman hits 40, she's damn near out the game. So this is why it's not the same thing when a girl has a high body count. And the thing is, I know a lot of people sitting out there now saying, how do you know if a girl has a high body count? Great question. I can tell you right off the rip. And I'm telling you from experience. You can tell if a girl has a high body count by her characteristics, her patterns. And it's so many different patterns that she do. Like, she needs validation, she's looking for attention. There's so many different ways. Oh, she has a lot of male friends. You could see the signs. Remember, you don't trust words, you don't really trust actions. We trust patterns, because a pattern tells you who a person is. And don't get it twisted. A girl, this happens to a lot of people. A girl would show you a facade, even dudes. A girl or dude would show you a facade and like, oh no, I'm like this, I'm like that. But guess what? Eventually, the mask will fall off, and then you'll see, like, wait a minute, yeah, I see what you about. We all been there. A girl characteristics will tell you what they're about in the long run. And you have to understand one of the main things about all this. Men are not born with their value. Men have to earn and gain their value. Women have to maintain and protect their value. We are not the same. Meaning, don't be giving up your goods to everybody and it's all used up when I get to it. And it's like, yo, like, how come you didn't come to me when you were fresh, when you was a brand new car? Now you have a flat tire, a broken carburetor, and your engine don't work, your eggs. So it's like, what can I do with you? We can't even start a family. I can't even put my gene pool in. But a man, we age gracefully. Women age like milk, unfortunately, because your eggs get burnt up, and when you hit the wall, it's over. A woman cannot compete with a 20-year-old. Period. A 20-year-old female can't. It's impossible. We can, because we are the ones that produce value. I'm not saying that women can't make things and do things, because you can, but that's not in your nature to do that. You see what I'm saying? That's us. We got to do that. We have to be the creators, protectors, and the ones to take care of business. Women are the ones that's supposed to nurture and hold down the fort to make sure things are organized and set in place for the family. It's a team. But you got to understand that. I'm going to say this one more time, if you didn't catch it. Men are not born with value at all. We have to earn and gain our value. Women have to maintain and protect their value. We are not the same. I hope y'all learned something. Like, subscribe, share, and I want to see your comments on this, because this is as real as it gets. Much love, stay dangerous, splash.